Just ahead on CTV News. Lawmakers trying to stop a government shutdown. Plus, Black voters encouraged to vote now more than ever. And
it's National Coffee Day. Coming up, I'll share how Vigilante Coffee in Hyattsville is celebrating in a unique way.
Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for September 29th. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us.
The clock is ticking as Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill try to avert a government shutdown.
And the stakes are high, with President Trump threatening mass firing should there be a shutdown. Top Democratic and Republican leaders in Congress were scheduled to meet with the president this afternoon. And Byron Scott has our story.
I'm Byron Scott on Capitol Hill. Take a look behind me here. You see the U.S. Capitol. Things don't appear to be too busy right now at this point in the day, but all eyes of the nation are on Capitol Hill as hundreds of thousands of federal workers face an uncertain future and important government services could come to a halt. Now, funding is set to run out at 12:01 a.m. Wednesday unless the president and leaders on Capitol Hill can reach an 11th hour agreement. The president has threatened mass firings if there is a shutdown, and for their part, Democrats want assurances that the president won't redirect funds from approved agency budgets. They are also seeking protections from Medicaid cuts and changes to the Affordable Care Act premiums. But Republicans in Congress say those issues can wait. Now, Maryland has already been hit very hard, as you know, by federal cuts. Federal job losses hit more than 15,000 this year. That's the most in the nation. The state has lost nearly 10% of its federal jobs since the start of the new year. Now, the fear is a shutdown will hurt the state and Prince George's County even further. Now, once again, as you see the Capitol behind me here, not much appears to be going on here from the outside, but if no deal is reached by 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday, the government will shut down. On Capitol Hill, Byron Scott, CTV News.
All right, Byron, thanks so much for that report. The last government shutdown started on December 22nd of 2018 and lasted 35 days.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been transferred to a detention center in Pennsylvania. The Salvadorian man is currently at the Mohashanan Processing Center. Court records show ICE officials notified his attorneys Friday. ICE told his attorneys the move would allow them to have greater access to him. But his attorneys are not convinced that's true. Abrego Garcia's lawyers are also concerned about the living conditions at the facility.
On the same day that a school superintendent was arrested by ICE agents in Iowa, a Florida congressman tells attendees at a Congressional Black Caucus event that Trump immigration policies are affecting Black communities as well. U.S. Representative Maxwell Frost of Florida said Black people of Latino descent are experiencing fear as ICE agents, along with state and local law enforcement, have been arrested regardless of their immigration status. Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts, who is Guyanese, was detained on Friday by ICE for allegedly overstaying his student visa. Trump has made illegal immigration a hallmark of his administration, and according to ACLU, there are currently 60,000 immigrants in detention. And your vote counts. That was the message at last week's Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Conference. Speakers at CBC Town Hall, including Mark Morial of the National Urban League, told participants when Black voters stay home on Election Day, the results have major consequences. He urged them to reject the myth that their vote doesn't count. Black voter turnout in 2008 was more than 65% when Barack Obama became president, but it dipped to 59% in 2016 when Donald Trump won the White House. The numbers remained the same when Trump won his second term.
An agency watchdog is taking a close look at the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. The Inspector General for the General Services Administration is trying to determine whether or not DOGE's projects are meeting their intended goals. Specifically, they're looking at the impact of the termination of government leases and DOGE's decision to close its technology office 18th F. The Inspector General says this will be one of their top priorities for the fiscal year 2026. Several Maryland organizations are teaming up to provide accurate information on data centers. According to reports, 6 Maryland groups have formed the Maryland Data Center Analysis Group. The organization will provide information about the potential impacts of data centers and policy solutions. 3 jurisdictions, including Prince George's County, are looking into bringing data centers to their county. Earlier this month, many people in Prince George's County protested the proposal of putting a data center at the old Landover Mall site.
Well, Prince George's County State's Attorney Tara Jackson recently announced the conviction of 35-year-old Rashad Dickens for abusing 4 of his children. Last February, detectives from the Child and Vulnerable Adult Abuse Unit began an investigation into claims that Dickens was physically abusing 4 of his children. Dickens faces a maximum of 25 years per count, totaling 100 years. Sentencing is scheduled for January of 2026. In addition, their mother, 32-year-old Tiara Kelly, pled guilty to 11 counts of child neglect. Well, it's National Coffee Day, and people across the U.S. are celebrating with a cup of joe.
CTV's Anaya Falcon is at Vigilante Coffee in Hyattsville to share how the shop is celebrating in a unique way.
It's National Coffee Day, and coffee shops across the U.S. are pouring extra cups of the beloved drink as they are offering freebies and deals, a reward that customers at Vigilante Coffee say was unexpected.
I'm actually a really big lover of coffee, so I'm very happy that it's National Coffee Day. I didn't really realize that it was National Coffee Day, but now that I'm here, I'm happy.
The National Coffee Association says Americans drink coffee more than any other beverage, averaging at about 3 cups a day. And customers are celebrating at Vigilante Coffee, where they say it stands out from franchise competitors.
It is one of our most beloved community institutions here in Hyattsville. The way that they have nurtured community, built a third space for people that work from home, people that just want to connect with neighbors.
The general manager of Vigilante Coffee says the quality of their coffee makes them stand out as well.
We roast our own beans. We source the best beans around the world. We roast them in-house, and then we sell it online and sell it in this place.
A luxury that can be costly. The manager says they've been seeing a decrease in coffee spenders.
Brazil still have 50% tariffs and their imports. So all coffee is getting more expensive now, and people, of course, will be more conservative and not spending too much.
A reality that they're hoping doesn't get in the way of people experiencing what Vigilante Coffee has to offer.
Coffee education is always important, and that with the knowledge and trying different coffees from all over the place will definitely change your taste bud.
In Hyattsville, I'm Anaya Falcon, CTV News.
Thanks, Anaya, for that story. And Vigilante Coffee has over 15 different origins of coffee beans from all over the world.
Now, we were kind of talking about this earlier in the studio, but iced coffee or hot coffee?
Well, we all know it's about the iced coffee for sure. And
Yeah.
You're the same way, right?
Yeah, I love, iced coffee, but tea is good as well.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. All right.
You're watching CTV News. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Michaela Noon. Still to come, a local food delivery service is starting a new chapter and moving to College Park.
We tell you about the Food for Maryland and their mission when we come back. Stay with us.
Come on, move. Of course, there aren't any spots. A few minutes won't hurt anybody. Thanks, Grandma.
Paralyzed Veterans of America works tirelessly every day to create a more accessible America. Let's leave the accessible spaces to the people who actually need them. Whatever the reason, excuses don't excuse. Join PVA and be part of the solution. Honor the spot.
Hi, I'm Elijah. In the summer, I like playing basketball on the trampoline. When I'm hungry, it affects me. Like, if I'm trying to read, I'll go to sleep, or if I'm trying to do something around class, I'll get distracted. When I grow up, I want to be a robotic engineer. I want to build robots that can help around the house. Helping people makes me feel proud of myself.
A new report reveals court-appointed defense lawyers in federal court have been working without receiving a paycheck since the summer. According to the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, some court-appointed lawyers that represent criminal defendants in federal court are owed tens of thousands of dollars. In some cases, those lawyers haven't been paid since July. Lawyers aren't the only professionals impacted. It's also paralegals, clerks, and administrative assistants. Reports show the federal judiciary is dealing with a budget shortfall, and their finances could get worse if the government shuts down. A group of Medicaid recipients is suing the state's Department of Health due to the denial of services of those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The class action lawsuit was filed Thursday in Montgomery County Circuit Court on behalf of 18,000 recipients who had lost coverage from the department's annual redetermination process. Back in July, the department said it was in the process of reviewing circumstances of which disenrollments occurred. As of now, they say they will not comment on litigation.
And a new neighbor is moving into College Park, and they're bringing food with them. Food for Maryland, a nonprofit meal delivery service, will set up shop at the Flats at College Park. The group already delivers breakfast, lunch, dinner, and groceries to seniors and residents with special needs in Greenbelt and Montgomery County, but now they're looking for more volunteers.
The development company that was producing this affordable housing high-rise also was so kind to donate the space to help us get a brand new commercial kitchen and a headquarters that we could really do some good work and expand.
I think once we got our boots on the ground and got to really understand the emphasis and impact of how many people really go on a day maybe with one meal or aren't able to feed themselves, it really brought, for me, a cool opportunity to really help people.
And Food for Maryland says it hopes to ease the burden of rising grocery costs and put smiles on people's faces by getting healthy meals right to people's doors. And Maryland's environmental justice map is back online, but some communities say it no longer tells the full story. The Maryland Department of the Environment rebuilt the map after losing access to federal data during the Trump administration, but this new version leaves out race, ethnicity, and language from its scoring formula, and that's raising concerns. The state says the updated tool adds new features and still flags overburdened communities, but advocates argue the changes water down protections.
And activists are targeting low-cost airline Avelo for immigrant detention flights out of BWI. The activists are criticizing Avelo Airlines for signing charter contracts earlier this year with the Department of Homeland Security to transport immigrants detained by ICE from airports across the country to a detention center in Louisiana. Maryland's deal with Avelo allows either party to walk away from the arrangement with 30 days notice. Avelo operated about 20% of the deportation flights in the U.S. in August. And still to come on CTV News, it is National Suicide Prevention Month, and we are raising awareness on this growing crisis.
After the break, we sit down with a licensed psychologist who breaks down warning signs and ways to help someone struggling. Stay with us.
Most hiring algorithms would scream me out.
Some bosses couldn't see me as a leader.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
I've been running code. I as long as I've been able to reach a keyboard.
This is what I do. It's second nature for me, coordinating 100 details at once.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
I sold them on my
You
skills.
gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
My magic is
Analytics and empathy. That's how I'm getting clients. You have to have the confidence in yourself to show up and defy the odds.
I am more than who I am on paper.
I never got a college degree. And today, I'm the CEO of my own company. People want to tell me I'm one in a million, when actually I'm one of millions. Stars are all around us. It's time for them to shine.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
The month of September is recognized as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. It's a time to raise awareness, promote hope, and normalize asking for help when needed.
And suicide affects millions of people every day, yet too many people struggle in silence. And joining us in the studio to discuss suicide prevention is licensed clinical psychologist and the founder of Your Neighborhood Clinic, Dr. Sharifa Al-Uqta. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what is the difference between normal stress and when someone's actually going through a deeper crisis?
Yeah, well, normal stress really looks like what you would expect from day to day. So people might complain of headaches, body aches, might be fatigued, but when you are really talking about a crisis, you will see much more longer impact. So the headaches can become migraines, can become much more impactful. They may need days off of work, right? Instead of just one mental health day, it may extend into days or even weeks, right? So we're really looking at severity and intensity of symptoms to really differentiate between normal stress and a crisis.
And can you tell us the difference between the warning signs and the risk factors and the importance of distinguishing the two?
Yeah, warning signs are things might be imminent. Things are really happening. So a warning sign can be an individual giving away their goods, talking more about suicide, talking about the actual plan, saying that it might be better for them not to be here. A risk factor really just talks about you are in a group, and based upon this sort of group identity, you may be at a greater risk to possibly engage in suicide. So being a woman, being between the ages of 10 and 35 are risk factors. But warning signs are really direct behaviors that I might see you actually engage in or begin to do that really signal that suicide may be imminent.
Right. And if you know somebody or love someone and you're seeing some of those signs, how do you actually start that conversation with them, and not make them feel uncomfortable?
Well, one of the myths that people have is that if you talk about it, then it will increase the likelihood that an individual will actually engage in suicide. But that is actually the first step. If you are seeing warning signs, you want to say, hey, you have begun to say these things. Are you thinking about hurting yourself? Are you thinking about harming yourself? I would like for you to maybe talk to someone professionally around some of these things that you have been mentioning or saying and or doing.
And we want to look at the data. So do you have any relevant data in reference to suicides from like age to gender?
Yes. So one of the things that is very important is that suicide crosses across the lifespan. It is the number 2 leading cause of death between individuals ages 10, I believe, to 35. And then after that, it becomes it remains in the top 10. It is twice as more common, suicide is twice as more common than homicide, so twice as many people die by suicide than they do die by homicide annually. And like I said, it is a lifespan issue. It's not just something that happens in middle or young adults, that it happens from individuals, our senior citizens and our younger children as well.
And what are some of the biggest misconceptions around suicide?
Right, so like I mentioned earlier, this idea that talking about it can be an issue, the idea that people are selfish if they think about it, right? That's a big misconception, that people are actually trying to harm someone else, or that there is a character flaw in terms of individuals who might consider suicide. That's a misconception. That people are just looking for attention. That when people actually say, I'm thinking about hurting myself or harming myself, that they're just doing that to gain attention. And that it's not something that happens across ethnicities or religion, right? Like, oh, they're too spiritual, or they're too good of a person to ever think about suicide. Those are some of the common misconceptions. Suicide, thoughts of wanting to hurt yourself can happen, again, like I said, across the lifespan and across all different types of groups and populations.
And we have time for one last question. What would be your message to someone who is struggling out there right now?
That help is available. That there are people that they can call, the National 311 for help. There is help that is available. That is the message, and that those interventions work and can be beneficial.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you or someone you know is struggling, you can call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. It is free, confidential, and available 24/7.
And if you would like to know more or speak with Dr. Sharifa Al-Ukta, visit yourneighborhoodclinic.org. All right, don't go away just yet. It's time for our Monday Sports page.
That's right. Well, Simon, what's happening today?
Are you guys in the mood for some football highlights? If so, you're in luck, because I have some in store for you after the break. Stay tuned.
I am an athlete. I am an educator. I'm an EMT, a neurologist, a veteran, a business owner. I'm a mom. We are survivors. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women and doesn't discriminate.
It can affect any woman at any age or stage.
Yet many women don't know it's our greatest health threat.
Encourage 3 women you love to learn more about their risk factors and how they can take charge of their health today.
Hey there, sports fans. I don't want to waste any time because I have a packed sports page for you today. Now, it was Friday Night Lights this past weekend, and for our first game, we take a trip to Brandywine as Gwynn Park High School hosted the Largo Lions. In the first quarter, the Yellow Jackets offense got off to a good start with plays like QB William Butler rolling out to his right and completing this pass to Nehemiah Humes, helping the team get into red zone territory. And the black and yellow eventually got their first touchdown of the game thanks to this QB sneak from Butler, and now the team was up 7-zip on the Lions. And soon after, both teams lined up for the kickoff, and Largo's Amir Belton was set to receive the kick. Belton began the return, and his speed seemed to be no match for Gwynn Park special teams as he took it all the way for a Lions touchdown to make the score 6-7 in favor of Gwynn Park. Running back Tymon Fox was able to then punch it in on the 2-point conversion, making the score 8-7 with Largo now on top going into the second quarter. And Fox just kept on making plays for the team in the second quarter, looking like prime Derrick Henry on this angry run to get a few extra yards for his team. The Lions then scored their second touchdown of the night thanks to who else? Tymon Fox. And now the Lions were up 14-7 on the Yellow Jackets. But later on, Butler looking like Lamar Jackson out there, showing off his legs to beat the Lions defenders to the end zone for another Yellow Jackets touchdown. The game was now tied at 14-all after the extra point. Now it wasn't all offense in the quarter as Gwynn Park's defense had this clutch play, with Mekhi Sutton sacking Largo QB Akeem Jervis on 4th down to get the Lions offense off the field. And the Yellow Jackets were able to score again before the half, not too long after, as Butler continued to pick apart the Lions defense, throwing this touchdown pass to LeVar Holton to make the score 21-14 at halftime. And Gwynn Park came out on top in the end, winning the game 33-28. Meantime, over in Landover, the Fairmont Heights High School football team was hosting Friendly, and the Hornets were up 20-6 after 3 quarters. Now the Patriots made things interesting in the fourth as Braylon Boyd ran it in for a touchdown to make the score 20-12. But just a couple minutes later, signal caller Jamari Myers recorded a Hornets touchdown thanks to this QB sneak to extend the team's lead. And now Fairmont Heights was up 28-12 on Friendly. And that was the final nail in the coffin as Fairmont Heights beat Friendly 28-12. And there was even more gridiron action over the weekend as, yes, you're reading that right, Parkdale blew out Bladensburg 56-6. Potomac took down Oxon Hill 32-26. And finally, Eleanor Roosevelt had their way with Northwestern, winning 61-0. Dang. Switching gears to the NFL, my Washington Commanders were in action yesterday against the Atlanta Falcons. And the Burgundy and Gold dropped to 2-2 on the young season after losing to the Birds 34-27. Washington's defense played a huge part in the loss as quarterback Michael Penix Jr. threw for 313 yards and 2 touchdowns, with receiver Drake London and running back Bijan Robinson combining for 216 of those yards. Here's head coach Dan Quinn after the game, where he touched on the defense's shortcomings.
This is a talented group that didn't, play well last week. I certainly didn't think that was going to be what we would see this week. But, like about third down was, one that really hurt us. And then time of possession gets affected on both sides. We don't convert a lot. They converted more than half. And then all of a sudden, it switches. So I like the team was bold. I was not surprised that we battled back, to give ourselves a chance to get back into the fight. I just don't want to be in those spaces too often where, hey, okay, now we're battling back to go into it. I know who they are and how they'll fight for it. But as we're sitting here 2-2 after a quarter, we got a lot of our football to get aligned right like we want it to be at our best.
Washington is now 0-2 on the road to begin this season, and they will head out west for another road game against the LA Chargers on Sunday. And wrapping up sports, the Bowie State football team fell to Winston-Salem State in their home opener over the weekend, 28-21. Their next opponent will be Fayetteville State on Saturday. And that wraps up your Monday sports page. Simon Bucks, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Now let's take a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, a slight chance of showers with a low of 65. Tomorrow, cloudy skies with a high of 76. And the next 2 days, it will be bright and sunny. Wednesday, we'll hit a high of 70, and Thursday, a high of 68.
And for our community calendar, the annual Pooch Plunge is back. Get the chance to bring your dog out to the Greenbelt Aquatic and Fitness Center and let them enjoy swimming and playing around in the public pool. The plunge is happening this Saturday, October 4th from 12 to 2 p.m. For more information about the event, you can call the number on your screen or send them an email. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
To a child battling a critical illness, a wish can feel like a dream. But with your help, it isn't out of reach. Wishes are an important part of medical treatment. A chance for kids to see themselves stronger, braver, to see that the impossible is possible. Wishes can give kids the strength to fight, to get better, to grow up. Where there's a wish, there's a way.